January 2011, the world witnessed the public debut of China's most ambitious military aviation project yet, the Chengdu J-20 stealth fighter. Sleek, menacing, and shrouded in mystery, the J-20 marked a dramatic leap in China's aerospace capabilities. But what is the truth behind this enigmatic jet? How close is it to rivaling the American F-22 Raptor or the Russian Sukhoi 57? And what does it mean for the balance of power in the Asia Pacific region? This is the full story of Project 718, China's bid to claim dominance of the skies. The test flight of the J-20 took place on January 11, 2011, coinciding with the visit of US Secretary of Defense Robert Gates to China. Was it a coincidence or a calculated message? Just as China had launched anti satellite and anti ballistic missiles on the previous January 11th, this timing sparked worldwide debate. Despite initial confusion with the Chinese government, the message was clear. The People's Liberation Army Air Force had entered the fifth generation fighter race. The aircraft itself didn't carry a test primer coat, it wore full military livery. Civilians observed its flights, even Xi Jinping was rumored to have entered the cockpit a day prior. The secrecy was selective and it meant to impress. The J-20 represents China's attempt to build a fighter that is stealthy, supercruise capable, and well armed, characteristics long monopolized by the US and to a lesser extent Russia. Its physical dimensions over 23 meters long with a 14-meter wingspan, it is comparable to the legendary F-111 in size, but can such a large airframe truly be stealthy? It features forward canards, internal weapon bays, and rear nozzles possibly hitting at thrust velocity. And yet, several key technologies remain unproven in 2011. Active electronical scanned array AESA radars, sensor fusion, and engine self reliance. The biggest bottleneck engines. The Achilles heel of Chinese aerospace has long been the jet engine. While the prototype may have flown with Russian AL-31S or the Chinese WS-10, neither offered the stealth, thrust, or reliability of American F-11N engines. The WS-10, a fourth generation engine, is compared to 1970s technology by Western standards. To field a true fifth gen jet, China would need to perfect the WS-15, a quantum leap in engineered in engine design. Moreover, stealth demands low infrared signature. The use of non-stealthy engines with visible nozzles and heat signatures undermines the J-20's radar invisibility. Yet China has the advantage of deep pockets. Even if the engines lag, mass production and brute force numbers could compensate for that. A fighter is not only as good as its pilot. Since the 1990s, China has invested in a more professional People's Liberation Army Air Force, downsizing, modernizing, and recruiting college educated officers and enlisted technicians. However, stealth aircraft are maintenance heavy. The US has decades of experience maintaining stealth coatings, composite skins. China, by contrast, was just beginning this journey in 2011. Avionics too remained a question mark. Without real world tested AESS radars and data fusion systems, the J-20 combat brain might fall short, but improvements were ongoing, fast paced, and state sponsored. Narrator: What does what role does the J-20 serve? It suggests its size suggests deep strike potential and long endurance, possibly enabling inland basing for Taiwan scenarios. If supported by tankers and AWACS, the J-20 could threaten distant targets in the first and second island chains. A well-armed stealthy Chinese jet could strengthen as well as threaten US air dominance, especially if used to attack high-value enablers like tankers and surveillance aircrafts. In a broad sense, the J-20 is a part of layered anti-access, anti-denial A2AD strategy. Alongside missiles, submarines, and cyber capabilities, the J-20 signals that China will no longer coincide the skies over Western Pacific. The J-20 development reverberated worldwide. Russia saw potential competition for its T-50 exports. India eyed the Chinese advances warily. The US faced renewed scrutiny over its decision to cap F-22 production. Could the F-22 production line be restarted? Would Japan or South Korea one day be allowed to buy it? Meanwhile, countries that couldn't access Western fighters might turn to China's J-10 and eventually even the J-20, changing the global military export market. China's ultimate goal isn't just regional parity, it's global aerospace legitimacy. In 2011, the J-20 was a symbol of ambition, confidence, and disruption. Its real value wasn't just its stealth, size, or speed, but what it represented: China's relentless march towards military parity with the West. The path to a fully operational combat tested J-20 would still take years, but the takeoff had already begun. As the Dragon stretched its wings, the balance of air power in Asia, perhaps the world, would never be the same again.